Hello people of YouTube and welcome to a video about my ever-expanding collection of filming equipment. A few months ago I said in Curiosity in Advance, link to that video is down below, that one of my few addictions is getting myself increasingly expensive camera equipment. So let's take a look at how that is going for me, shall we? Just a heads up, this video is part 1 of 2 parts, because that is how much we have to cover. And the last thing is that this video is mostly aimed at other YouTubers or other people who are remotely interested in motion picture equipment. If you aren't interested in that sort of stuff, I am trying to keep this as short and snappy as possible, so it might still be interesting for you to watch my face. Just mute this, I don't know. So in part 1 of the 2 we are going to discuss cameras, lenses and audio. Let's go. Firstly, let's go over cameras and start with my beloved Canon EOS 600D or T3i in America. This is a magnificent entry-level DSLR with an 18 megapixel APS-C size sensor, and of course it has that lovely flippy screen on the side, which is perfect for vlogging purposes or other things. I can look at myself in that right now, which feeds my vanity, for example. Important to note is that I have Magic Lantern installed on my 600D, which is alternative software that allows a fuckload of features that are hidden in the original Canon EOS software, like expanded ISO capabilities or focus peaking or more white balance stuff. Manual audio control, all that sort of stuff is included in Magic Lantern. And if you are serious about filmmaking and vlogging maybe even, and if you have a Canon EOS 600D or another Canon EOS camera, I can really recommend trying that software because it's really quite handy. Also with the 600D I have this little remote control and an extra battery because, well, you never know when you're going to run out of energy, basically. My vlogging camera is also a Canon. It's a Canon Legria Mini X, which still surprises me every single time I use it. I love that little camera. It has a fisheye lens, which can be really off-putting when you use it at first, but once you see how many framing options you have with a fisheye lens, a whole new world opens up for you, which sounds sappy, but it is actually kind of true. Also, it has magnificent audio. I mean, those microphones in the front are not this big without a good reason. On to the lenses for the 600D. I have 4 of those, of which I barely use the first 3. I have an 18 to 55mm kit lens without electronic focusing or image stabilization, and I only really use this for macro photography because it does have a really short focus distance, which is really quite nice. Then I also have a 70 to 300mm tele lens, also came with the camera. I really don't use this one actually, unfortunately, because it's quite nice to work with, but I don't really do as much photography as I do filming, and for that the following lens is better. And the following lens is the one that I have attached to my camera right now, which is an 18 to 135mm that I bought later, and this has image stabilization and electronic focusing. I still am undecided on whether or not I like the electronic focusing because it's non-linear and it doesn't have a hard stop to it. So you can't really put marks on the focus ring for when you do proper focus pulling, for example in a short film or slightly bigger production than something like a vlog. But it does focus really smooth, and for run and gun work it's really nice to have, and it's really silent as well, which is nice for filming, obviously. And of course I love the image stabilization because my hands are really shaky. That's just brilliant to have, and I can recommend it to anyone looking for a new lens out there. This is just a really good thing to have. 18 to 135 image stabilization and electronic focusing. Brilliant. And the last one is quite interesting. I unfortunately barely use this one as well. This is a Holga pinhole lens, which is essentially a 60mm prime with an amazingly tiny aperture, which lets through very little light, but it gives these vignettes and a slightly crappy image quality for hipster purposes. I don't know, but it's quite nice to have, but I rarely ever use it, and I really should use this thing more often. Let's move on to audio then, because as I tend to say, audio can make or break a video, and that is why I have the following audio gear. My microphone is a Røde Videomic, not a Pro, not a Go, just an ordinary Røde Videomic, and I can't say much about the thing, I just really like it. Because of its shotgun shape, it cancels out audio in the back, which is really quite handy for when you're recording in an echoey space, or for example in the city with a lot of background noise, which is quite handy to have. I never plug it in straight to my EOS 600D, even though with Magic Lantern I have the manual audio control. The input levels and stuff are still quite shit, and for that I have this. This is a Zoom H1 audio recorder, which was quite cheap frankly, but it's lovely. It's a magnificent piece of equipment. I just plug all of my microphones in there and that just records solid audio quality, which I then sync up with my video track in post-production. So the audio you're hearing right now comes from this thing. The microphone that I'm using right now is a Røde Smartlav Plus. Yes, another Røde mic. Why? Because I love Røde mics. Can't help it. They're magnificent brand. The Smartlav Plus is a really nice microphone to have when I, for example, am going outside. I can tuck it under my coat and then it cancels out wind noise while still recording my voice. Or for example, when I stand too far away from the camera and I can't put my shotgun mic on top of the camera because it will just get too noisy, then it's really nice to have. Essentially, it does need a bit of tweaking in post. I need to up the bass as well as the high notes a little bit, but that's fine, I'd say. So that was it for the first part of my equipment list. In the second video we will discuss lighting, equipment transport, equipment support, editing and data storage. I also want to give a big shout out to Amy for helping me shooting the B-roll I used in this video. And her channel link is obviously in the description below. Now I want to thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to randomly push one of the positive buttons down below, and don't forget to check out the second video of this little series as well next week. Thanks, and I'm out now. Ciao!